Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to Stamford Bridge. Again.
Hello.
I will never stop smiling whilst I announce the name. And, okay, we got even better than Stamford Bridge, which was itself a neat little historical event. We've got an even better one. The EU has decided to reintroduce Weimar Plus.
I can't even believe this is real.
I love it so much.
I mean, oh god, it's kind of hilarious, isn't it? It's like, Warhammer Plus and CNN Plus and all this sort of Disney Plus. Everything's a rehash of the 20th fucking century. Like, nothing new will be created in this entire century. It will just be given a plus next to its name.
You're right. Like, that's the entire thing of Disney Plus. It's just like, hey, come to Disney Plus. Okay, what do you got? Well, we got The Acolyte. Not interested. We got Snow White from the 1970s. Ooh, okay.
Oh, Snow White was before the 1970s.
Probably was.
Pretty sure it's from like the 40s or something. But yeah, it's literally just the sort of fan fiction of the 20th century.
Like, this also goes a long way to illustrate a particular point, that the Weimar Republic has just been wiped from memory.
Yeah. Well, not from my memory, because Harry's currently working on a documentary about it, and he keeps telling us things, and it's just like, oh, Jesus. You can see why the 20th century went the way it went.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, the more I've looked into the Weimar Republic, the more you realize it was just the worst place. Like, completely and utterly dysfunctional on every level.
Yeah. It's just, like, especially Berlin. Oh, my God.
It's like, here, this enormous bowl of worthless money.
How useful. I'll take the wheelbarrow, thank you very much.
The Weimar hyperinflation. Oh, that too. Like, people don't understand, right? People now, like, looking at inflation, which is getting pretty shit and pretty, like, increasing prices. Like, oh, the price of egg is $20. You don't understand what hyperinflation looks like.
Yeah, Zimbabwe didn't they print like $1 trillion bill or something?
I think so.
Like, they understand. You don't understand. Inflation's bad, I agree, it sucks. But it's not hyperinflation, it's just bad.
There we go. Special aggro check, $50 billion.
Yes.
National Bank of Zimbabwe.
Yes, thank you so much, government. I love the government so much.
$10 trillion.
Fucking. I love the way that it's got some rocks on it as well. It's like, yeah, that's what this is worth. A couple of rocks. Fucking, literally. I think when you're printing $10 trillion notes, you may as well just go back to the fucking Stone Age. What's the point? Like, we've fucked up civilization. We didn't do it right,
Why not just use rocks?
Yeah.
The rock's
got more use.
Yes, the rock does have unironically more use. You can use it as a weapon, you can use it to grind flour, you can use it as a paperweight. The rock has infinite more uses than this piece of paper does.
Yeah, I'm not having anyone dissing rocks as a non-useful, non-functional thing, unlike Zimbabwean dollars.
Well, this brings it back, right? Everybody seemingly has just forgotten how, like, Weimar Germany is just this black hole in history because it makes the socialists look unfathomably bad.
Yeah, and the thing is, the only thing you ever hear from it is, oh, the Nazis did terrible things. What did they do? They burned transgender books. It's like, oh, why'd they do that? Because they were weird and inappropriate, basically. And I don't want to say exactly why for YouTube purposes, but there were lots of people who were supporting what they were doing for a reason. In the same way that when Trump's like, yeah, no more girls and boys and girls sports, everyone's like, yeah, good point. It's exactly the same motive.
Yeah, no, like, again, this is why everybody has spaced it, because if you look into it, what did the Nazis do? Well, they did some pretty bad stuff, but they also fixed inflation in like 4 years. They fixed unemployment in like 5. They brought people back to work. Like, you gotta remember, what was it? Neville Chamberlain who said, "May God grant us a man like Hitler if England even ever falls as far as Germany"?
Did he say exactly that? Did he?
They're paraphrasing because I can't remember. There was
but it's going to be something like that.
Yes, because Hitler did amazing things for Germany. It's just that then he went a little insane.
Well, I mean, he wasn't Time Man of the Year for no reason.
Exactly. If the Weimar Republic was just the worst you can possibly imagine in every way. In fact, it's worse, okay? The worst you can imagine in terms of degeneracy of the modern world. You might see like a certain pride parade streak through your mind. Weimar was worse.
Yeah, especially in Berlin. It was just, I mean, I don't know if we can really talk about it on YouTube because the things they did are just, I mean, just foul in a way you've just never thought of. Probably.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe Weimar Germany. The worst thing you can imagine doesn't compare.
Yeah.
And it's across the board. The worst inflation you can imagine, Weimar was worse. The worst degeneracy, Weimar was worse. The worst breakdown of public order, Weimar was worse.
Yeah, totally.
And now we have Weimar Plus.
I mean, like the Nazis didn't come out of nowhere, right? That's the thing. They didn't come out of nowhere.
Again, that's why we have the meme, like, and then suddenly one day they all just voted for Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't come out of nowhere. Like things were unbelievably shit.
Yes. The fact that the EU has memory hold this to the extent where they place this on a public statement is just
It's mad, isn't it? Just the total lack of awareness.
It's absurd. Like it literally defies belief.
Honestly, like it's genuinely hard to believe this is real.
It genuinely is, but here we have Kaja Kallas, EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, the Vice President of the European Commission.
So what does this thing actually say? Can you read it out?
It's about Ukraine. Basically,
Right.
EU is worried that America is taking too much of a leading role, and they're like, please, let us sit at the big boys' table.
Why? You're not contributing any of the guns.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. We are ready to enhance our support for Ukraine. Like, we are finally willing to pay up, Trump. We'll pay our share, please.
Oh, are you?
Don't push us out in the snow.
I saw that a journalist had been like, "Oh, Mr. Trump, are you treating Ukraine as an equal during this negotiation between you and Russia?" And he's just like, And it's like, and I was just like, what an asinine question. Ukraine is not the equal of America or Russia. Well, it's just not. It's just factually not true. Why would he do that?
Yeah, like, and this is the two. We recall security of Europe continent is our common responsibility. Our shared objective should be to put Ukraine in a position of strength.
These are why you let America pay for everything.
Yeah, these are not your objectives anymore. You have failed to make these objectives. You do no longer have the power, economically or militarily, to make this a priority.
Yeah, you are literally not important players at the table. So why would anyone care what you think?
And when you then cry and whine about it and put out statements for Weimar Plus,
God, that is wild.
Nobody's gonna take you seriously.
Why would you want to? Jesus Christ.
And the way this is exactly the EU strategy too. They themselves sound very tough. Like they puff themselves up like, oh, we must be included in these negotiations. We must. Okay. Why? Well, we want to.
I mean, what do they actually bring to the fucking table?
Very little, if anything.
Like, oh, we're totally dependent on Russian energy. Oh, good thinking.
Yeah, can you provide like weapons? Maybe it's like
no, got no manufacturing.
I remember
cars, but
There was a request from Ukraine several years ago because they got access to like half a dozen or so of the German Panzerhaubitz 2000, like a self-propelled artillery piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this thing is vastly superior to anything the Russians have. So Ukraine's like, oh my god, we need more of these. These are fantastic. And so they wanted 300 of them. And the Germans like, I'm sorry, our entire army has 100 of them.
Wow. Shame they can't be produced, eh? Shame that factories don't exist to make more.
And they've only now started producing them in sufficient... Like, they then panic ordered another 200, and it's going to take 5 years plus, at least, before they're done.
We're only 4 years into the Ukraine war, Germany. Take your time.
Yeah. Hey, the entirety of Europe's defense is so unfathomably unready for a war on this scale.
Yeah. It really is. It's just... And it's all of Europe as well.
All of it, yeah. All of it. Like, this is what I was talking about in one of my early videos on the Ukraine war, actually. That the next war is either going to be over in like a month, or it's going to take like 5 years as everybody realizes, holy shit, our tiny armies can't actually win this entire war in a weekend. Mass conscription, mass production, etc.
Yeah, I think that is one of the two options, frankly.
And that's what we're seeing now. Like, Europe doesn't have the weapons. Even America was found wanting, where they were sending javelins over to Ukraine, and they suddenly realized, oh shit, we don't actually have enough of these things.
But that's the thing, is that nobody really wants a war.
No, it's a difficult question, because EU has been using all of its money on public goods, on public services, and we've built an incredibly cushy life for ourselves.
Yeah, we've got the world's most advanced welfare states.
Yes.
Fucking genius.
Meanwhile, America has spent so much money on its military, it's in debt now, deep in debt. The kind of debt it will never extract itself from. However, it now also has the biggest stick in the world, the biggest stick the world has ever seen.
But also, there's a kind of problem with that, which is that America is not Rome, right? Like, Rome would never have lost the Vietnam War. Rome would have been like, oh, we can just bomb them out of existence, therefore we will, right? But the Americans are hampered by a doctrine of human rights, and so they can't just be like, hey, we're just going to kill everyone in this area, right? The Americans have to have essentially limited scale war in everything they do. And so it's like, oh, we've got the world's most powerful military. Yeah, but you can't really do with it what you would need to do with it to properly win the victory. And so even though you might defeat the enemy army in the battlefield, you're going to lose the peace.
Well, there's the thing. The US Army can annihilate any other army on the planet.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yep.
You're going to move in and you're going to be stuck in another long-lasting occupation war. You will have no positive argument for why people should join you. You'll be in Afghanistan and you'll talk to a goat farmer who lives in the 1800s at best, and you're going to talk to him about McDonald's and fucking Starbucks.
Yeah, and all they're going to see is another imperial occupier. Because a lot of the places that America takes over have been taken over many times before. It's just then, at least there was a kind of reasonable conversation to be had. We've got the army, and we're making sure that you do as we say. It's like, oh, fair enough. The Americans come in, they're like, hey, can we offer you liberalism? And like, these places are like, no, I'm going to just bomb you until you fuck off eventually. And eventually America does fuck off because it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good nationalist argument to overcome the nationalist or religious argument of their opponents.
Well, the thing is, in previous times, if these intractable problems had come about, the imperial power would just kill everyone until they did exactly as they were told. Right?
Yes, and that was their, like, the imperialist argument, the pro-nationalist argument for Rome was obey or we destroy your people.
And the term that was it Sallust or someone coined was, Rome creates a desert and calls it peace. It kills everyone in its way. Like Julius Caesar depopulated 2/3 of Gaul. Like, come on, you don't understand how brutal wars used to be.
Yeah, and that is an argument that is very difficult to argue against.
Exactly. So if you're an occupied country by someone like the Romans, it's easy just to do your work and pay your taxes, right? It's actually really easy to do that. If you're occupied by someone like the Americans who turn around and say, hey, do you want some freedom? It's like, look, freedom to me means living in an Islamic caliphate, right? So when you say, do you want some freedom? I say yes, and that means you have to leave or put on a burqa, right? The Americans don't understand that freedom does not have a universal meaning.
Yeah, and it's the fact that nobody understands how brutally you need to oppress a 700 BC tribal society.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't understand why you don't. Like they don't understand your laxity. They mistake it for weakness. They assume you're weak.
Because it is weak. Like, this is why when the Soviets were occupying Afghanistan, right? Mm-hmm. When they had a base somewhere, they would simply just shoot anyone who approached the base. Man, woman, child, they don't give a fuck. Americans, when the children come up, they give them candy. And then children run back to the village and go like, oh yeah, there are X amount of Americans in the village, they've got this kind of gear, etc. They're right over here. And now they're going on patrol, you should probably set up some snipers.
Yep. Like the Americans don't realize that, like, you can't win them over with kindness, right? That's not how their civilization works.
It is not. And I want to point out as well, even the Soviets were not brutal enough to subjugate the Afghans.
No. No one has been.
Yeah, no one has been.
And like another thing the Americans, until Trump it seems, actually, now I say this, have never even ventured to dare go near, is the concept of deportations, right?
Yeah.
So moving people around against their will is standard imperial policy, and sometimes with their will, obviously. But every empire does this. So when you find yourself with a difficult to deal with population, what you do is you make them all leave. You take them somewhere else, and you make them live somewhere else. You split them up, right? Trump has arrived at this timeless imperial solution over Palestine, where he said, look, we're taking it over and they're going to go somewhere else, right? We're going to redevelop it and turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. Like, I love that he approaches this like a 1980s property developer. Genuinely hilarious. But this is totally normal, right? And you might be, oh no, that's brutal. It's like, no, that's exactly what the Azerbaijanis did in 2023 to the Armenian Christians. They just kicked out something like 200,000 or 300,000 Armenian Christians from Azerbaijan. They're just like, no, we're done with it. You're going, right? This is what the Pakistanis did last year to the Afghans. They just kicked them out. Like, this is what happened all the way through the 20th century. This is why there's no Prussia anymore. This is why the Turkish population of Greece is very low and the Greek population of Turkey is very low. Like, forced movements of people is a completely normal thing for great states to do all through history.
And it is the only way to claim an area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way to get a permanent peace.
Like, again, when the Ottomans finally managed to take Constantinople on their manyth try, they slaughtered the majority of the city, get rid of the rest. They dismantled the Byzantine Empire, its entirety. Because the clay can't resist you. The ground has no nationalist sentiment. But the people do. If, however, you take those people and you take them away from that area, if you take the Afghan and you move them to be a minority population somewhere, they'll have enough to just stay alive as a minority population in a new area now.
Yeah.
Then you move in your own settlers and you take it all over.
Yep. And like we're not saying that this is good or that you should do this. It's just this is how these things are done, right?
Yeah.
And what America has been trying to do is play half measures the whole time. So basically, do or do not, there is no try. Like, you've just been approaching the business of empire completely wrong. And it's like, look, you either don't do it right or don't do it at all, right? Is what we're saying.
Yeah, and the worst part is America was actually onto this solution in Vietnam with the Green Berets. It was not to fight a war, it was to create fortified villages of Vietnamese people. It was to use the tribal structure against the Vietnamese. No. Okay, you don't like the communists, we're going to give you guns, we're going to give you a fortifications, we're going to build up your village. You are going to fight against them for us, and we are going to stay out of your way except giving you weapons.
Perfect strategy.
Yeah.
How do you lose with that,
Well, you lose by having the politicians come in and say, no, we can't do that.
I know, I was joking, obviously. Like, from a military point of view, that's great, right? You're using you're using resources that are not your own to fight a war you want to see won, and you are not imposing yourself upon the people who ultimately you want to be on your side at the end of it.
Yeah. And so they're not fighting for the South Vietnamese government, which was shit. They're fighting for themselves.
Yeah. And they're not fighting under your direction, as it were, either. Like, you're not giving them commands or anything.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're fighting for themselves, like you say.
Exactly. You risk nothing, they fight harder. This is the exact same reason why the Afghan army collapsed. This is why the South Vietnamese army collapsed. Because now they're fighting for Washington. And an Afghan doesn't want to fight for Washington.
Yep. They will only fight for what they actually believe in. And this has been always true.
Yep. It doesn't matter how well you equip a man if he doesn't want to fight.
And I tell you what, if we ever had a good example of that, is fucking Assad's army. They just disappeared, didn't they?
Yep.
Like, what fucking happened to them?
Or even, I think better, you remember when ISIS first became a thing and you saw just columns of Humvees that they'd capture from the Iraqi army?
Yeah.
Again, like, these were just, like, goat herders, literally, with AKs and Lee Enfield rifles that they'd gotten from their grandfathers.
Yeah, any even vaguely well-organized, not even well-organized, but just any semi-organized modern army should have been able to destroy them.
Yeah, and they did. The moment America started taking ISIS seriously, they were annihilated.
Oh, yeah. But the point is, you have to be prepared to incur casualties on the enemy side, and that's the main problem with America as an imperial power. Is the press will be like, you're like Kyle Kalinske and the Young Turks will whine. And it's like, okay, that's great, but shrug, you're the imperial power, you're imposing your will on the world. Yeah, these things will happen.
Yes, the solution to the Palestine conundrum is repeated flights of B-52s.
Well, I mean, if Trump literally just physically deports the people to like Jordan and Egypt, not that Jordan and Egypt want them, but I mean, he'll probably say, like, they'll probably end up in Europe. They're obviously going to fucking end up in Europe. They always end up in Europe.
Yeah.
But the point being, and I'm not in favor of that, see. But the point being, if Trump wants them gone, he can make it happen. Like, notice that no one's even acting like Trump doesn't have the right to do it as well.
Oh, yeah. Everyone is
so
just,
funny.
They're complaining, they're whining.
Yeah.
But nobody's really saying, oh, we'll stop you.
Yeah, exactly. No one's saying, oh, we're going to stop you. Because no one can stop him, and they know they can't stop him.
Yeah. Like, Israel isn't threatening military intervention, they're complaining.
Everyone's complaining. Like, loads of British MPs are complaining, loads of American senators and whatnot are complaining. But nobody's, like, mounted a legal challenge.
Yep.
Or even like that. Nobody's done anything. They're just like, oh, okay, then.
Yeah, much less a military one. You don't see France going like, oh, we're going to block you from doing this, America.
Oh, yeah, none of the Arab states are going to lift a fucking finger. Like, they hate the Palestinians anyway. So I did a bit of research into the Arab states' relationship with the Palestinians. And to be honest with you, I can completely see why they don't like them. Like, so in the 70s, Jordan, I think it was the 70s, Jordan took over the West Bank, right? integrated the Palestinians into their own parliament. So like half their parliamentarians were Palestinian.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, oh, well, what more could the Palestinians want? Because of course they're the same ethnic group. They speak the same language. They've got the same religion. They look identical in every way, shape, or form. So you think, oh, well, the Palestinians should be fairly happy with that, right? I mean, they don't, they're still living in the same territory. They've got the protection of a power behind them now. No, what they did is try to overthrow the government and take over the Kingdom of Jordan.
Yep.
Mental. Absolutely mental. What kind of gratitude is that? And so obviously Jordan basically kicked out anyone who even looked like a militant. So it was just like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Thanks, Yasser Arafat. Right? And then you've got Egypt, right? So in the Sinai Peninsula, there are something like 300,000 or 400,000 people in it, 'cause it's obviously just desert. But those people who are there are mostly Palestinian and strongly hold the identity of being Palestinian. And in 2004, I think it began, until 2007, there was a Palestinian insurgency in Egypt. Because, of course, these people were like, yeah, no, we're going to take over and set up a Palestinian state. And the Egyptians had to physically crush this uprising. And it was in 2009 they started building the giant wall against Palestine. For anyone who doesn't know, look up Egypt's wall against Gaza. It is the most savage-looking wall you've ever seen in your life, right? It's literally just like, it's got like 3 different layers of razor wire on it. It is just, you are not ever coming in here. It's so fucking brutal looking. And it's like, yeah, and these, again, Arabs speaking Arabic, worshipping Allah, not fucking having any of it, right? They're not having it. So, like, just saying, there's a reason the Arab states don't want to help.
Yeah.
They've tried.
Because when they did try, the Palestinian was like, oh, this is a nice bit of land you have here.
Allahu Akbar! It's like, fuck's sake, you retards. Fucking stop it.
I mean, the Palestinians have the mentality of conquering people. They just don't have the military might to enforce it.
That is totally true. They have the mentality of a conquering people, which is no good when there's only a few million of you and you don't own anything.
Yep. Unfortunately. Oh, God.
So anyway, basically, there's a lot of burnt bridges in that area, and nobody wants to have anything to do with them. And so nobody is speaking up in their defense when Trump's like, yeah, fuck him, we're just gonna move him.
Yeah. Like, this is also why, when Israel invades Palestine, they do it for months of just bombing and destroying.
Yeah,
and this happens every time. They move in, and at first the international community is lukewarm, like, well, they did shoot rockets at them. Then a week passes, and they go like, oh, but the Palestinians are dying. Then another week passes, oh, more are dying. Eventually, the public decry is too much, and Israel stops. This is repeated like 7 times now. I mean, like the October the 7th thing, I think it was something like 2/3 of Palestinians supported it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, right, that was smart, wasn't it? You support, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like 1,300 people or whatever it is, terrible, absolutely terrible. But it's not a crippling blow to Israel, right? It's not going to prevent the Israelis from doing anything. In fact, all it's going to do is give them the green light to do what the fuck they like to you. Wasn't the smartest thing in the world, just saying. Yeah, again. Like, if it was my plan, I wouldn't have done it. It's one of those things with Palestine that they keep doing. They launch a terror attack, they kill a bunch of civilians, which is terrible, and then Israel levels entire cities. Yeah. It's like, stop. Stop poking the bear.
Yeah, there's just no point.
At this point, you just gotta... Israel should just push through. Just occupy it, level it, push them out. It's the only way. You will never end this war in these half measures.
You ignorant slut.
No. It's like, and this is Donald Trump's solution is very sort of Gordian knot. It's like, yeah, no, I'm just going to cut through it. We're going to take control of it. The Palestinians are going to go somewhere else. Otherwise, we're going to have to deal with this for another 100 years. He's correct. Like, whether you like it or not, and I don't like what the solution is probably going to end up being. We're probably going to end up with Palestinians over here, blah, 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 right? I don't like it, but I can understand why Trump's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the only solution. It's just the problem that they're going to be our problem next.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they are going to be our problem next. And again, like it's we can just pay attention to why the Jordan and Egyptians don't want them.
Yeah. Everywhere they've gone, they've tried to overthrow the local government.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was quite the spin-off from Weimar Plus.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening.
All right, let me do a couple of these two as I think. Oh, yes, Brandon, thank you very much. $150. Incredibly generous. Thank you, sir. No artist's opinion, but what does Sargon think about Trench Crusade? I treat the creators like White Wolf, cool settings made by raving lunatics, money to Savvy coming back, or Stargate. What? Whichever chat wants more.
I'm actually kind of bored of Grimdark. I like Grimdark in 40k, obviously, because it's 40k. They basically invented the genre. But everyone now jumping on we're Grimdark too. It's actually easy to do Grimdark, right? It's actually really easy as a setting to make. It's like, oh, everything's terrible. Look how gross this is. Look at all this blood. Ooh, isn't this spooky? Yeah. Okay, but I've seen it all before. And so Trench Crusade, don't get me wrong, it is a cool setting, but like, it looks kind of just like Nurgle has Nurgled everything to me whenever I see anything from it. It just looks like something Nurgly from 40k. And I'm like, right, okay. But I have played as Nurgle, so do I need to play Trench Crusade? I mean, I haven't even looked at the game mechanics, actually. Maybe they're superb.
Very Necromunda.
Well, that's fine, Nothing to complain about there.
But yeah.
But it's basically, it just hasn't piqued my interest any more than anything else has. And the reason I haven't personally taken a look at it is because the fucking devs and the fucking community action team, or whatever they're called, just seem to be insufferably woke, and I don't want to support people who hate me.
Yeah, like, make no mistake. I did a video on this. These people hate you. They're not going to tell you now because they want your money.
I don't know. I think everyone's been told enough that they hate us, actually. I think it's pretty obvious. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. I don't hate you, but I'm not going to give you anything, so bye.
Yeah, so no matter how cool it may look, I don't think there's a future there for me or a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna.
Hexy. Tubman was always a leader. Stop the racism, bigots. Harriet Tubman, leader of America.
Man, Civ 7 looks like a disaster, doesn't it?
It is a disaster. Like, it plays like a handheld game.
Really?
Yeah, like the UI is awful and everything is grey and boring now. They went for this kind of like halfway stylized, halfway cartoony style with no color, and it's really... Ugh.
So I wasn't going to get it, but given how bad everyone says it is, I am actually tempted, because obviously a thing that is excessively bad is always entertaining in and of itself. So,
and it's also just, it's not Civilization anymore.
Really?
At all. Because at the beginning of the game, you pick from just leaders, and those leaders can be everyone from Harriet Tubman to Napoleon.
What I love about this is just, we need comparable people to lead these civilizations. Well, we've got Napoleon, great. We need Harriet Tubman then. Otherwise, America just doesn't have anyone who stacks up.
Yeah. It's like, half of the people aren't even leaders. They're people who did something neat. Like, I think Thomas Edison is a leader. I'm like, okay.
What? Why?
No,
He's
exactly.
a great inventor,
He's a great inventor, but what the fuck does he know about statesmanship?
But literally, in previous games, he was a great inventor.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally one of the great people that you get in Civ. Like, what?
And they forcibly introduce a bunch of weird nations as well. For example, one of the nations is the Mississippians.
Sorry?
The Mississippians.
Oh, are they talking about like the Native American tribe who lived in the
Yes.
Mississippi Valley?
Yes,
Right,
and the
right,
problem is they don't even know enough about them to know what their fucking name is.
Well, no, that's the thing, because there were cities in the Mississippi Valley that got depopulated by plague. So the civilization basically died out, as I understand it.
And we know next to nothing about them, so all of their stuff is hyper generic. Like their special unit is fire arrows.
Like, have you seen in the Amazon rainforest, they've been doing LiDAR or something like that, whatever it's called, and they've uncovered cities in the Amazon rainforest underneath the jungle.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's really interesting. Like big Mesoamerican style cities that are obviously cities that essentially died off because of the smallpox that hit the New World, and so the jungle just reclaimed them.
That's pretty neat, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Now, see, that is interesting things to discover and find out, but you don't put them in a Civ game because we don't know what the hell they were.
Well, yeah, we don't know what they called themselves or anything like that. You know, there's no details on them.
No.
They haven't even excavated the cities yet. They just know they're there because of the LiDAR.
And this leads to really ridiculous aid structures where you have the Mississippians whose special building is like a granary made out of dirt, and they're in the same age as the Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, so here am I with my Native American savages who have just discovered fire, and there are the Roman legions, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is a fair fight.
Oh, good luck. I'll choose Rome.
It's so dumb. And they've even removed the age system now. Now the ages transition at given times, and then they wipe all of your armies, and you move on into the next age.
What? That's terrible.
Yeah, I was about to wipe out Benjamin Franklin in my game, then the age switched, and all of my armies disappeared, and I was at peace with Benjamin Franklin again.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Like, Civ 7 is just a downgrade from 5 and 6 and every other game in every way, practically.
Well, I was going to say, I actually really enjoyed 6. I actually thought 6 was really good.
Yeah, me too. I liked 6. Like, people yell at me for this, but I really liked 6.
No, 6 was good. Well, there was nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah. Civilization 6 to me was more or less the perfect midpoint where they hit like all of the right notes, and maybe it didn't excel as much in certain areas as others, but it was better overall, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I thought it was just superb, to be honest.
And 7 is just worse. And that actually brings me up to the topic of the day. So, why was Civilization 7 worse? Well, the dev team decided to put this little video here out. Thanking the fans. And hey, thanking the fans, nothing wrong with that, but we get a look at the dev team, and immediately you begin to see, is this why?
Okay, so there's something about this that is kind of endearing, right?
Yes.
So I don't want to be mean to these people, because I don't know who they are, and I'm sure on a personal level, all of them are very nice. They just have political views I don't agree with, which fine. You know, I'm not like, extreme about my political doctrine or anything like that. And I'm okay with people disagreeing. But there's something about the kind of narcissism of the woke left that I have a problem with. Because if you're like, I want to make a thing, like, okay, well, good, have fun. I'm sure you'll find an audience for that, and depending on how widely agreed upon that thing is, will depend on the sort of breadth of the potential audience, and then it's up to you to make something good. When you take over something else that already has an audience, and then you say, right, I want to make this thing, and everyone's like, but that's not what we play this for, and you're like, I don't care, you're a racist, then I start to lose a lot more sympathy, right? And it's actually less justified for you to do the thing you're doing, because actually you've stolen something from someone else.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you sit there and go, well, we're going to do it anyway, I'm going to be like, well, when it flops, you know? And so putting out this kind of cutesy thank you Civ fans, what they're doing is not saying thank you Civ fans. They're saying thank you woke Civ fans who are going to be the ones who are buying our game.
Yeah, and it's exactly that, because if somebody was simply making the gayest, wokest game ever, and they released that on Steam, okay, fine, I don't care.
Great, have fun.
But then they think to themselves, oh, but it's so gay and so woke, it must have a larger audience, but nobody's interested. Am I doing something wrong? No, it's the audience. They just don't know that I'm gay and woke. So what if I took a beloved franchise and made it gay and woke? Now everyone will know.
Yeah. I feel, and it's not just that. It's not even what if I did it. No, it's I must do it.
Yes.
I must spread the gospel of gay woke communism. So it's just like, okay, but like nobody asked for this. Like nobody was asking for a new Civ game, to be honest. And nobody was asking for a new Civ game with Harriet fucking Tubman in it. And there just wasn't any desire.
It's just the downgrade is so clear. Like, these people aren't... It's not even that they push their gayness into... It's that they are not capable of making this. Like, super simple example. Caesar from Civilization VI, okay?
Yep.
Obviously cartoony, obviously stylized, but it's...
that's fine.
It's put through, right? He looks good, the armor looks good, it's all defined. The stylism comes through.
Yeah.
Civ 7, blander, beiger, his armor looks plasticky.
He looks like a fucking teenager.
Yeah, and they clearly went for, like, okay, we need to do, like, the old cartoony style, but we gotta add in, like a realism filter of brown and grey over it.
But he doesn't even look like Julius Caesar. It's not like we don't have enough fucking busts and statues of Caesar.
To be fair, I think this is supposed to be Augustus.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Looks a bit too happy, doesn't he? Can't imagine Augustus was a very jolly fellow.
You can simply just see it in, like, the vividity of the colors as well, you know?
Yeah.
This has personality. This does not.
Yeah.
It's
Totally
washed
agree.
out and blandified.
Yeah.
It's weird
Totally
how
agree.
the most, brightly colored people seem to be unable to add color into their products.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's their fucking problem?
And this video was dropped, and, God, hello they, them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want to go at these people because I don't know they're bad people, but they have done something objectively selfish here.
Yes, and people reacted poorly to this because they saw a lot of people in it that looked exactly like the woke stereotype. So they release a bad game, they bastardize a beloved series, and then they drop a video that shows they look exactly like the people that always bastardize these things.
Yeah.
And then people got upset, and then they deleted the video.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't bear them any ill will. I'm just never going to buy their game, and they should think about why they do the things they do.
It's... Yeah, it's one of those things where gaming, Western gaming in particular, has hit like a perfect storm of shit now, where it's more ideological, and this has in turn led to a drop in passion, which has in turn led to a drop in skill. This combined with more and more formulaic tools, like Unreal Engine being used for everything, means that these people just aren't as talented. They can't make games as put together as in the past. They can't even do basic, like, color vividity to make something look gripping and interesting.
Oh, that's totally true. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm as impressed with the Unreal Engine as anyone, but, like, do we need, like, do we need the same, what's it called, bump mapping or whatever? Like, everything does look very obviously made in the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, and it harms developers, because back in the day, when you wanted to make a video game, you had to do a lot of problem solving. Problem solving. Which in turn meant that you needed to get better. You needed to understand more things about your game, about the tools you are using. Whereas now, you get a problem with Unreal Engine 5. You don't fix it, you call Unreal support.
Yeah. So you are not the programmer like your grandfather was.
No, you are the guy who applies the color patterns to the model.
Yeah, everything's very standardized.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even need to make half of the things. Like, so many of the assets are pre-imported. You need water. Okay, well, there's 15 water models in there. You need shrubbery? Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
The amount of games that look similar now, it isn't because you're crazy. It's because half of the models, trees, bushes, etc., are probably literally the same.
Yeah. Honestly, it's exactly what it is. And again, I'm not saying the Unreal Engine isn't amazing. It is, and I can see why you're doing it. I do. But there are consequences.
Yeah, like, I like the idea of standardized things like this as a democratizing force for entertainment. If anyone can make a game, that's great. But
the problem is anyone can make a game.
Yeah, and the AAA studios that should be making engines specifically for their purposes aren't now.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, this is why we got Total War, was because Creative Assembly was like, okay, we want massive battles, but no engine out there can handle it. We're going to build our fucking own.
Yep.
Whereas today, that wouldn't happen because they'd be like, well, the Unreal Engine doesn't support that. Sorry. Like, oh.
Yeah, no, unironically, that's precisely what you'd be told. I said, oh, great, okay. Don't worry about it then.
Sadness.
Yeah, but, you know, that's life.
I'm going to catch up on a few more of these. Reverend Norse, you both have been on top with your videos lately. A real delight. I hope as everything crumbles around us that you keep on with the same high standards. Civ 5 superiority. Your gaming is good as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm glad that in the complete fall and decline of our civilization, we can produce good criticism. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, I saw you did a video on Wraithbone. I didn't watch it because I needed to be uninformed for my own, but
yeah,
my take largely, and I think this was yours too because I saw the title, of course, fantasy is being stripped from these things. Like, the magic is being deliberately drawn out of it.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if it's deliberate, right? Because that would imply a conscious understanding of the process involved, but I'm not sure they have that. I think these people, in the same way they can't understand what right-wingers think, I think they can't understand what a fantastical world is meant to be, right? So, like, they can't understand that, like, these people in previous eras genuinely believe that, like, the rocks are alive, you know? I don't think they can understand what a person thinks when they think that and what that does to their vision of the universe.
Yeah. I come across another article about Magic the Gathering where Magic the Gathering designer was talking about a new, like, story thing they were putting out.
Was this Mark Rosewater? Yeah?
Yes.
Right. So do you know who he is?
I don't. Who is he?
Right. So I've been playing Magic the Gathering for many, many years. He is an old school Magic the Gathering developer. He's developed some great sets, really great sets. And he used to have a blog that was, of course, like on the Magic the Gathering, the Wizards website. He used to have a blog on there that was just really, really readable, where he'd talk about, like, the new sets and stuff like this. And it was all non-political. It was all just, here's something about Magic the Gathering. And it seems, I'm guessing, he's gone woke in the past few years.
Oh, yeah. Because one of the weirdest thing was he was responding to a couple of comments that critiquing the new set, because it's filled with diversity, as per usual.
Yeah.
And one guy was like, I don't want to hear stories about they, them fairies. I want to hear about magical creatures, about mermaids and giants and stuff.
Not really very unreasonable.
No, not at all. And his response was exactly the stealing the magic response. He's like, listen, they, thems exist in Magic the Gathering because they exist in the real world. It's like, yeah, that is exactly the problem.
Yeah, I don't want to be talking about modern politics. And also, do I agree that they thems exist in the real world? Really?
It is as you say, that I kind of agree that they don't even themselves understand what they are doing, but they are obviously making the world less magical, and they can't seem to help themselves. They don't even understand. He even argued later on that adding in more of the real world doesn't decrease the fantasy. I'm like, no, by definition,
What?
that decreases the
How could it not,
fantasy.
Mark? For fuck's sake, that's such a silly thing to say.
Precisely, it's absurd. And how does your mind go there? Oh, hey, I've decreased fantasy by 10% by adding in California, but there's still just as much fantasy. Like, it's literally eating your cake and having it too. The argument.
Yeah, well, that is atrocious. That's genuinely an embarrassing statement from Mark Rosewater there.
It's nonsensical. And again, part of me gets the idea that they don't themselves understand it, and I think that's probably correct, but I can't wrap my head around anyone can think like that.
It's baffling, isn't it? It's genuinely baffling. But again, like, this is where we are. These are the things they're saying. Like, we're not putting these words into their mouths. Like, they come out and be like, yeah, no, it's okay if I make this about modern day politics. It's still just as fantastical as it's always been. It's like, okay, that's not true, though, is it?
Yeah. It's an absurdity.
Yeah.
And again, this is how you make a lesser Civilization VII game too, because you're not really doing Civilization even at that point.
Fire is the answer.
Yeah. Again, these people are making it about themselves rather than the game or the product itself.
I need to do a deeper dive into this. You did an amazing deep dive into Politics of 40K years ago, where you laid out like the values of story and how stories are told, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I have this sneaking suspicion that if we dig a bit deeper, we'll see that a lot of the progressive people don't value the storytelling, as in the fantasy storytelling, but they probably have a deep affinity for historical storytelling of victimization.
I mean, entirely possible. Entirely possible that they do.
Because I imagine this guy has probably watched Root 17 times, but he probably hasn't watched Lord of the Rings much.
I mean, Lord of the Rings does have a lot of straight white men in it, Arch.
Yes. The last all-white movie, I've been told.
Is it?
Apparently. The internet has told me that it was the last all-white movie.
I don't know. I watched Master and Commander not so long ago. That was pretty great.
Master and Commander is a great movie. It's a shame they stopped there, because there's way more in that universe.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, like, it's all straight white men and there are no women. So it's just like, wow, this is just the most bro film in the world.
It's a great movie, too.
I know, it's superb. It's a fucking amazing movie.
Fantastic.
So yeah, this ship is England. I love that movie, honestly.
Master and Commander. Oh, that was... Oh, did you hear? So, the latest Marvel thing dropped the other day, Captain America, and it was incredibly uninteresting.
What a shock, yeah.
Yeah, just genuinely uninteresting. But it kind of signals the death of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they're running out of steam, I think.
Oh, good, finally.
And then this came out a little while ago. Mel Gibson reveals new TV project on the Great Siege of Malta.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
I assume this is the last one where the Ottomans fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there, the Cape shit running out of steam. Finally, after like 20 years of dominance.
Yeah.
Maybe we could return to some historical epics again.
Based Mel Gibson.
I would like that. I would like that a lot.
Crusader for Christ.
I would like it if we could get back to that. Kingdom Kingdom of Heaven, another excellent movie.
Yeah. Kingdom of Heaven gets a lot of a bad rap. I don't understand why, because I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, no, I don't get it either. I fucking adore Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, where else do you see like giant medieval armies on the march?
Yeah, I have no idea why it gets a bad rap. It's a fantastic fucking like the cinematography, the visuals, and the thing too is it did CGI in a way that's actually good. Like when it shows armies, they look like armies.
Yeah. I assume, right? I actually assume it's Orlando Bloom because he is a bad actor, and he has got a bunch of clanger line deliveries in that as well. But like, I mean, there are loads of other bits of it that make up for it, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy who plays Saladin's superb. The guy, what's his mentor's name?
I
can't remember now.
I don't remember either, but I know the guy.
Yeah, Liam Neeson's character.
Yeah.
Like, superb. Gets killed, arrow through the ball, typical. No, he already had the arrow through the ball, actually, didn't he? Absolutely superb film. Don't know why it's got a bad rap.
Yeah. Saladin is represented very well, very charitably, and very cool. Yeah. He doesn't come at all across like, oh, hey, we've got a story about this cool brown guy because modern. No, he just comes across as a fucking Chad.
Yeah. He comes across well.
Yes. He comes across very well. And it's all completely natural. It doesn't feel modern day at all. And he's got this perfect accent that sounds understandable and yet also exotic at the same time.
Yeah,
I love listening to him speak.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, one of the things that, and this is the thing that sets apart, like, the movies that are classic movies set aside from movies that are made for the modern audience, is that no side is being denigrated, right? Mm-hmm. There's no Musa from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Like, there's no, like, your civilization sucks character, right? What's assumed is that both civilizations are great civilizations, and this is the context in which the war is taking place.
Yeah, and of course, you've then got dumb people, like, is it Guy, the guy who was, I'm going to march my army out into the desert?
Well, yeah, I mean, he actually did do this.
Yes.
This is how, this is what actually happened.
Exactly, but he isn't represented as he's doing this because he's just needed. He genuinely believes that if he can just meet the Saracens in battle, he'll totally whip them, no problems.
Yeah, I mean, Guy de Lusignan is represented personally as a kind of headstrong asshole, which he was. He is accurate to the historical character. But he's not the Franks. The Franks aren't all bad and stupid. No, it's Guy de Lusignan who's bad and stupid. Baldwin is represented as superb. Like, what a classic character.
Another movie that gets a lot of stick recently that I thought was great was The Last Samurai.
I really like The Last Samurai.
And one of the things, the media literacy crowd gets so wrong on this, and this is why it's hilarious that they call themselves the media literacy crowd in general, is they go, Tom Cruise was The Last Samurai. No! Idiots!
No, it was, what was the guy's name? The guy who takes him in.
Yes, Katsumoto.
That's it. He's the Last Samurai, you fucking nut jobs.
Yes, Katsumoto is the Last Samurai, not fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And the Katsumoto thing, this is a real story, because when Japan was massively like industrializing after getting their asses beat by the Americans, there were the character of Katsumoto who fought against them, like the old ways against the new. It was a genuinely amazing, like, clash of old versus new. And Katsumoto himself still felt loyalty towards the emperor. Like, there's these awesome quotes of him basically going like, oh no, we must do what honor demands even if it is impossible.
Excellent quote. And I mean, that's really well represented in the film as well. Like when Tom Cruise, he says something like, is the Emperor going to kill you? So the Emperor needs to only ask for me to die. I'll kill myself, And like, this is alien to Tom Cruise's American perspective. Mm-hmm. You can't imagine what this level of honor and loyalty means. And that's the point of the film. He learns.
Yeah.
And so what's he choose? To die with them at the end, for fuck's sake.
Because this is a lesson, a national lesson of old versus new. And this is also why in the final scene, when the Emperor Hirohito asks him, how did he die? Tom Cruise says, I will tell you how he lived. God, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. And honestly, I think the hate is just, it's Tom Cruise. It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like the world's biggest Tom Cruise fan or anything, but that movie was fine and he did great. You know? Like, there's nothing wrong with Tom Cruise's performance in that movie.
Nothing at all. Excellent stuff.
Yeah. In fact, Tom Cruise is actually really good in that movie now I think about it.
Oh, he's
especially,
excellent.
but like he's genuinely really, really good. Like, you remember in the beginning where he's, telling the guy to shoot him and the guy's shitting his bricks. Tom Cruise looks fucking mental in that scene, which is perfect. That's exactly how he should look.
Yep.
Like, that's, you feel sorry for this little fucking Japanese guy who's got to, like, fire his gun at him. It's like, what, am I supposed to actually shoot him? Like, what impossible position are you putting him in, here? And Tom Cruise is just ferocious with it. It's really, really good.
There is... Oh, God, I need to... At some point, need to watch through a lot of these movies and do, like, an in-depth thing on it. Because there is a dividing line between the modern and the new movies. And... it's on so many different levels.
Yeah, but I'm sure that the fundamental level is the desire to humiliate one side, right?
Yes. Because
that's
I think
the fundamental dividing line.
Have you watched a movie called Glory?
I haven't, but I've heard of it. Is it any good?
What is so interesting about this is it's about a black regiment, the first black regiment in the U.S. Civil War.
Right.
And the black side is represented by an incredible... You've got Denzel Washington in there, Morgan Freeman, like an incredible fucking cast. And they represent the two sides in an interesting way, where Denzel is the rebel character. He represents the anti-American, anti-white feelings of the enslaved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's always acting out. He gets whipped at one point because he was stealing boots and so on. There's even a scene where he goes like, I refuse to carry your flag because it's your flag,
Yeah.
And in the end of the movie, it's his character who picks up the American flag and leads the final charge, showing that finally he has gotten over his resentment and understood, no, we are a nation now. All of us are actually genuinely a nation together. We are stronger together.
Very interesting.
And at no point either is there any denigration on either side. They make mentions of like, oh, it's slavery, etc. They show the bad white slave owner, which is like, okay, yeah, no, that happened. And even it is presented not as an immiscible evil, but rather just people understanding it at the time. They're like, okay, well, you're black, you're inferior. And then you have the counter argument rather than simply going like, oh, you bigot.
Yeah. Which again is just something that then they just can't bring themselves to, because essentially what they're doing in old films, and like there are loads of great films, like Zulu is a great example of this.
Yes.
Where like the Zulus are portrayed in a really badass way, and nobody was like, oh yeah, the Zulus are inferior. No one thought that. Everyone thought, shit, these guys are gonna fuck you up, Like these are serious dudes, And so what you're doing is you're just portraying the virtue of both sides, and all it does is goes to improve everyone's experience. Like, if everyone is treated with respect, everyone can walk away with it. No matter who the winner or loser is in this story, everyone walks away enjoying the story.
Yeah, everyone feels good.
I have lost. Shit.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, let's see. Hexy, does Weimar Plus get to have masturbation bicycles?
I mean, who knows? Like, bestiality prostitutes were not an uncommon thing in Weimar Berlin, so...
Nope.
It's just... God, we can't really go into it, because you may get funny about it.
Yes. River Norse. Annen en gang de møtes opp broron saksere og nordmann.
What does that mean? I heard Saxon.
Yes. Once again, they meet up as brothers, the Saxons and the Norman. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Axiom Serif, Art, Sargon, deep dive your war game. Is it agnostic or will have it STL for printing? Sargon, it's the woman refusing the men, not the other way. Hypergamy.
I'm not answering any questions at this time. All will be revealed when it is time to be revealed.
All will be revealed. Anti-hero, an Afghan drove into a protest today in Munich. The first right-wing protest, the standard reaction since the made-up migrant... Oh, and then YouTube does its download loady thing. Is YouTube for you running out of memory and closing chat windows?
Yes, it does this a lot, actually.
I thought it was
especially when
just
I'm, like,
me.
Yeah, no, when I'm streaming on my little pondering channel, like, a lot of the time, I will just lose access to the chat for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Very annoying.
That's fucking weird. The standard reaction since the made-up migrant hunt of Chemnis 2018. I'm aware of start 7 p.m. Garministan 2025.
I kind of missed what the point of that one was.
An Afghan drove into a protest in Munich, the first right-wing protest.
Oh, was it? Oh, what? It drove in. They drove into a right-wing protest on purpose.
I think so.
Fucking hell.
Because AFD is surging now, and there's like 10 days to the election down there.
I know, it's exciting, isn't it?
Oh god, if they win and actually bring Germany out of the EU.
That's funny. Really fucking funny.
Oh,
I mean, if Germany leaves the EU is over. So.
Yeah. And for once, Germany can be given the credit of stopping a war.
Germany, you could do something good for the first time in your entire history.
Yes. You can actually stop the rise of another Reich for once.
For the first time in history, the Germans are the good guys. Don't worry, Germany, we love you. We're just teasing. But we're not joking on that. For the first time in history, you could be the good guys.
Yep. You can be America this time.
Yeah.
The real Zartax, it's quite easy to imagine Weimar stuff. It's not that unique in terms of intensity. What was unique was how widespread and accepted it was. Yes.
Well, I don't know. A lot of the stuff that was happening is just stuff that, I mean, maybe Zoomers can understand it because they've got access to the internet. But like, you know, your parents would just be like, "What? They didn't do that." It's like, no, they really did.
Mm-hmm. So, Jard, funnily enough, the only death camps were the ones liberated by the Soviets. The Simpson Commission and a Malmedy massacre trial are eye-opening. Well, you know. Zonta, Reform and Farage finally take the right-wing populist stance on Ukraine. Karl most affected.
What was their stance that they've taken?
I don't know. I haven't heard on it.
I mean, I don't know. So I don't feel very affected, I have to be honest.
Europe could easily become a regional superpower and push Russia out of the way without any issue. It's just these leaders don't have the vision, will, or competence to do so. Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's obviously true.
It's the same with Brazil. Brazil should be the superpower of South America, but they're too incompetent.
Well, they're run by socialists, so...
Taratine. Don't forget, Zelon sold half of all the stuff on black market for own profit. Zelen? Zelensky?
Zelensky, is it? Yeah.
Probably. He was complaining that he was missing about $100 billion the other day.
Yeah. It's just quote-unquote missing, is it, Zelensky?
Misplaced. Can't find it.
Just gone. You know how things are.
Slox and Doppelganger, you don't need money when you have the ability to destroy your debtors. Try and collect and cease to exist. I mean, yeah.
That is true.
That's the thing. Who's going to call in America's debt?
Well, yeah, that's the point. Like, everyone knows it's not getting paid back.
Belial. So Europe infuriates me as they look down on the US as uncultured or lesser, but most of their nicer, cushy welfare systems you have come because we spend on everyone because we outspend everyone in the world on military. Yes.
This is true, but I don't have very much sympathy for it because, I mean, it's your empire. Of course, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, the thing is, America could choose not to.
Yeah.
But instead you did, and we did take advantage. But it's also like, okay, you bent over picking up the soap. Are you expecting us not to?
Yeah, but again, like, it's your empire, right? It's your world order that you're upholding with your military spending. So yeah, I expect you to spend more on it than everyone else.
Yeah, and you can also do what Trump now has done and is doing is simply go, no, pay your share or else. It really actually is that simple.
Yeah, it honestly is.
So Lux on Doppelganger, US must become brutal. At least if it wants to win any wars.
Well, I mean, just look at like everything the US has done since the Vietnam War. Where have the successes been?
Uh-huh. Wacky Skeleton, in a war that is passed down from father to son, you delete all males. The average American voter never came to that conclusion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the problem is, again, the average American voter is soft. You show him a couple pictures on the television of crying women and children, and he'll go, oh no, how could we?
Yeah, wasn't it like Walter Cronkite who said that Vietnam was lost not on the battlefields, but on in the living rooms of America?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is the remarkable divide, because the American fighting man is very interesting.
Well, good.
I've seen a lot of clips. You know the classic trope, right? When somebody is in war and they kill somebody for the first time, they have a crisis of conscience, they vomit, they feel unwell.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen videos of American soldiers, like, blowing a dude up with a grenade launcher and just giggling uncontrollably.
Well, in the Vietnam War, they used to take trophies.
Yeah, because this is what will eventually happen with people once they get used to this stuff.
Well, there's a kind of interesting thing with the Americans. They don't really have a very good military tradition, right? So they're not actually like, because America didn't conquer its continent by defeating states. America drove off tribal peoples from their land, which is much easier and can be done with far fewer men, right? And doesn't require like the giant investment in a military that the Europeans have had for centuries. And so the Europeans have got the behavior of war down quite well, and there are a bunch of expectations, and the way that we behave in war is well understood. But the Americans like went out to Vietnam and started like cleaning off Vietnamese skulls and bringing back as trophies and stuff like that. It's like, fucking hell, man. Like, that is not the sort of thing we do. FYI.
Yep. That is, there's definitely an aspect to American militarism that is more savage, shall I say.
It's honestly, it's kind of primitive.
And that probably does come from being the big boy on the block for so very long.
But also not really having the experience of being the big boy on the block.
Yeah, because
like,
one of the interesting things from the Second World War was that the elite American units fought very well, like the 101st Airborne, the 7th, 1st Armored Divisions, etc. These did very well. But the majority of American fighting units were viewed by the Germans as virtually useless. They would, they would advance, and the Germans would fire some machine gun fire at them, maybe a couple of mortars, and then they'd run back 100 meters. And the Americans would freeze. They'd seek cover, and they'd bomb that position for like 7 hours before getting up and moving another 100 meters, at which point the Germans would brrrt and draw back again.
Yeah.
This was why the bocage was such a nightmare, because the Germans would do this again and again, and the Americans would lie there for an entire day whilst the Air Force, the artillery, everything just spent a couple $1 million leveling every bush in a kilometer's radius.
Yeah, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. The Americans don't have the mentality to absorb casualties. Like, I was reading, I was listening to a video that was an audio reading of a Russian soldier's account of the Napoleonic invasion of Russia.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, just, like, he's saying how all around him, he's, the Napoleon's cannon are firing upon them. And all around him, like, there are men losing their legs. Like, apparently cannon fire was really bad for the legs. Because the cannonball, okay, it's not flying through the air anymore, but it hits the ground and it's still moving at a tremendous speed.
And it bounces.
And so if it hits it bounces and it just hits someone in the legs and it just takes their legs off, right? So it's totally common, and this happens to him, but it doesn't take his leg off. It just clips his heel, which causes his foot to swell up and stuff like this. But basically, there's just death everywhere, and so they fire their guns at the French. He goes over to his commander and he's like, "Oh, what should we do?" And the commander's like, "Well, just go fire your guns some more." It's just like, but there's dead men every fucking where, And the commander's just completely placid about it. It's like, yeah, well, and the soldier himself's like, right, okay, yeah, no, I'm here to die for Mother Russia, actually. He talks about how he goes into this kind of mindset where he's like, oh shit, yeah, no, I'm gonna die here, and he doesn't obviously, but the Americans don't seem to have that yet.
Yeah, and there are national characteristics of this. Like, the Russians, for the last 200 years, consistently, have been willing to just suck it and die in ridiculous numbers.
Yeah. And
to suffer through almost any deprivation.
Yeah.
Similarly, the French have had their alarm, their esprit de corps, the idea of the attack, which they kept onto even during the First World War, suffering enormous casualties.
Yeah. I mean, the French, like, at the Battle of Waterloo, like, they just walk up a hill into the English firing line. And it's just like, and we know what we're going to do to them. They know what we're going to do to them, and yet they did it anyway. And it's like, man, that is insane balls. Insane balls.
Yeah, but it also shows another interesting aspect, though. The more elite ideas of the British. Because how did the British deal with this? They laid down.
Yeah, stand behind the brow of the hill.
And this also shows
Wellesley's genius invention. Yeah, it's a good move.
The difference tempers in skills, because the British cavalry, shit. The one charge of the Guards Brigade by Waterloo, they charged in, scattered a few scattered units, went completely uncontrolled, were completely routed, and weren't seen for the rest of the battle.
In our defense, the French cavalry was fucking legendary.
Yes. And that was probably one of the biggest reasons why the French lost that war, because Murat wasted the French cavalry on hordes of British squares.
Yep. And if there's one thing the British square has been very good at for a long time, it's holding the line.
Yep. So Napoleon lost his most devastating offensive tool in a war against massed infantry formations. Slight deviation again.
Like, 63. It is, but basically, like, what this should be instructive to the Americans, though, right? Because you have basically one war, and it was against yourselves that, like, bring you into the modern era. Like the Revolutionary War, nobody really counts because the French won that for you. So. You didn't take millions dead, frankly. But Europe has just been millions dead for centuries.
Rubberleg 623. You want some brutal siege during the Roman era? Look up the siege of Amida in 359 AD by King Shapur of the Sassanids. All 200,000 defenders and the majority of the city's population were wiped out.
Oof. Oh. Well, that seems like a worthwhile endeavor, doesn't it?
Once the ram touches the gate.
Yeah.
But Hills Artax make Constantinople European again. His fault.
Yep. Trump decides here's a new executive order.
TF Allspark, the Heinleinian Republic is the only way forward.
Well, I mean, probably. Like, I notice how Google Maps has actually got it as the Gulf of America now.
Yep, they did bend the knee on that.
Apple Maps as well. It's like, fucking damn,
The gizmo, the EU's military sad. Even Nordic Air Force Alliance outmatched the rest of Europe's major powers' air force both in numbers and tech. Yeah. The EU needs like 20 years to rebuild its armies. I don't know if we have 20 years.
No doubt.
Robert Leg 63, the Roman Empire remained strong externally when the Roman legions stayed strong. Look up description by people of the late Empire legions and they sound like descriptions of young adults today.
Well, I mean, this is always a feature of Empire. Decline.
Belly Hall. We perfectly understand what we gotta do to deal with the problem. We just have a bunch of reporters putting an American bad spin on everything. And the European allies to keep happy.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. That's totally true.
The real Zartax. There's a very easy solution, a solution of the Omega variety, if you will. Just weakness and bleeding hearts everywhere, ruining everything. Yeah, well, that is the problem. Because again, politics is the 2% arguing over the 98. It doesn't matter if we understand the solution if the 98 does not.
Correct.
Eric Just, how useful would the Hadrian's method for dealing with the aftermath of the Jewish revolt be today if we were to mimic them in the Middle East?
I mean, Trump's planning on finding out, so...
We're gonna know.
Yeah, we're gonna know, yeah.
Oh, Warbos Doom, hello Art and Englishman. Did you ever find your war pick in KCD2 yet? If not, opt for a Morning Star. I do think I found a decent one, so...
How is KCD2?
It's a weird game from our perspective.
Go on.
See, on the one hand, it's good. I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. Chat seems to enjoy watching it, so all of that's good. But...
Gay sex scene is necessary for the plot.
Yes, and breaking up the anti-Semite revolt is necessary.
Oh, yeah.
And the black character whose only existence is there to piss on European culture, very necessary.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that.
And he tries to cuckold you every chance he gets.
Oh, thanks very much, bro.
It's like, I like the game, but it's obvious that woke elements are starting to sneak into it.
I don't even know if that's sneaking in. Like, that seems to just be it, right? Like, I mean, the way I look at this is that I think there's a kind of woke activism that likes to take castles, right? The sort of anti-woke castle. And I think that Kingdom Come Deliverance represented a fortress. And I think they essentially just said, Daniel Vavra, we love your game. Let's buy your studio, blah, blah, blah. Here's... God only knows how much money you get. You know, I mean, God only knows how much money you got, right? And you just have to make it as we make it. He's like, well, why wouldn't I do this? And then suddenly it's like, yeah, we do need the Moorish character in there. And since we now actually own and control all of this, you've got no choice.
Well, I think they did it via subversion. I think because they tried the tactic of like browbeating him. Why aren't there any black people in this game? And he got on his back feet and like, no, I'm not going to put any in. Fuck you. And then instead, they came to him. Like, he got bought by Embracer Group and Deep Silver Publisher, etc. And like, hey, Vavra, that was an amazing game. Wow, that's great. And over time, they go like, you know, a diverse character would be nice here. Oh, hey, what if we made this a kick-ass female character with a crossbow? And slowly but surely, they warm him to these ideas. And
I would agree with you, except I think that what Elon Musk has shown us is that this is going to be... He got bought.
Maybe. He either got bought or he got influenced. Because I've seen also, there's a lot more trans influencers around Warhorse these days.
Oh, are there? Right.
Yes. And they've been very chummy with them. And I've seen the voice actors on KCD2 be very chummy with journalists too. I think they simply just started being really nice to them.
Yeah.
And then they start adding it. And now then when we criticize Vavra and go like, hey, you're a hypocrite, look what you said, then the exact same thing happens. He gets defensive. It's like, no, I totally added this by choice.
Yeah, there's money, there's kindness, there's love bombing or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, you know, why wouldn't he respond well to that?
Yep. I think it comes down to almost strategy. I'm planning a video, because there was a question in, I did a video on it, where it's like, why should we claim the ground? Because my argument was, okay, KCD2 seems to be a success. Better to claim it than reject it.
Sure.
Now the question becomes, how do you claim it? And why should you claim it?
Well, I'm curious at how you're going to claim it, Because to me, from an outside perspective, kind of looks like he's gone woke, bro.
Yep. Well, that's the question. It becomes a cost efficiency argument at a point. So I'm still planning out that video because I think it'll be an interesting one.
Okay. Well, I look forward to it.
Marksman 117. Sargon, are you not impressed with the Americans' level of bureaucracy? We have a limestone mine that files government retirement forms by hand.
I am kind of impressed by that, to be honest. I have to admit.
The UK or the EU? Do they have bureaucratic minds? Feel the strength of American bureaucracy. We are in the mountains.
No, our bureaucracy is not underground. That is technically true. Ours is in giant modern-day towers of Babel.
Yep.
Unironically, I'm not.
We
even
don't
joking.
hide our away. We glorify it, which is
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah. So yeah, no, you are right. That is a cool way of doing bureaucracy. Literally hiding it underground.
Oh, and bureaucracy. Okay.
I need the city to
I've got a beautiful little video
God.
here.
Go on then.
First of all, why do they dress like this? So, this is at a city meeting in an American city. You know, they're coming there to say that they're afraid and they need protection from Trump's death gangs.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
But imagine, you are going to a public function, official function. You are appealing to the powers that be, your government, and you dress like this.
I mean, what's the problem, Arch?
It's like, imagine showing up to an employment interview like this. Like, it's the same like you see a person with tattoos all over their face, like, you've been unemployed a while, huh?
You know what you're talking about, Arch? What's the problem?
Oh, boy.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
And I love that too. Like, I'm afraid of Trump. Stands there in a giant blue wig, drawn on enormous fucking weird eyebrows.
Yeah,
Is this the face of fear?
I'm afraid of Trump, so I've made myself as conspicuous as possible.
Yes, I've literally put on my clown costume and my clown makeup.
And appeared in public.
To tell you how afraid I am of the government.
Yeah, just like Anne Frank.
Hello, city government. I have come to you to express my fears about the government.
Yeah, it's mental. And the thing is, like, the very nature of this is so disingenuous. Everyone knows that if you were genuinely afraid, you'd be hiding in an attic writing a diary, okay?
Yes, if the death squads were hunting you, you wouldn't be wearing an enormous blue wig.
I mean, literally a fucking clown outfit.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean, indeed?
So you're making threats?
And again, like, I'm so afraid. You better do what I want, or else.
Yeah, I'm not sure you do sound that afraid, to be honest.
And also, the threat. Oh, we're gonna take you on, city. Are you? Miss, you're dressed like a clown.
But okay, let's assume there's going to be like a woke clown insurgency. I'm afraid of Trump. Here's a woke clown insurgency. Who are the city going to appeal to? Just out of interest.
On the one hand, we have the federal government of the United States, the largest armed force in the history of humanity. On the other, 12 trans people in wigs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that, you know, you seem to... Weimar seems very appropriate, so...
This must have played out in Weimar, Germany. A chick in a wig. Whinging that she's afraid of the government.
Yeah, literally a clown.
Oh, and this next one, I love this one.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
Yes. Yes.
We've
love this
literally got other things to do.
because this is a lot of these people's first encounter with bureaucracy. It's like, I'm shaking, I'm shaking here. Wrap up, please. You've got 700 other trans people in wigs behind you. You're out of your allocated 2 minutes. This.
And the thing is, they're not. They're complete liars, and they know they're liars, which is why they're being seen in public.
Yeah, and I love that they're so incredulous. Like, what? You don't care about me? No. You have just encountered the government bureaucracy. You are nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you are just a number on my spreadsheet, a time on my watch. Get the fuck on.
Yep, you are registry number 6453 18.02 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. And frankly, you've taken too long already, so chop chop.
I love that. It's the shock on her face, like, are you serious? Yes. Welcome to the meat grinder.
Of course we're serious. We're the fucking government.
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
Computer does.
Yep. My
The
PDF
computer
file says
knows
so.
all.
I see here that you've indoctrinated 2 of your children into chopping off their penises.
God.
Please proceed with your plea to the government.
God, these people, man.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
Believe it, yeah.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers.
Yep.
And I love the delivery. She doesn't go like, you know, you'd think like this having a very, I'm disabled in multiple ways. Like, I'm seriously, I'm multiply disabled. My life is hard. I'm multiply disabled. You need to listen to me. I have 2 disabilities.
Notice the tone of voice trying to persuade you and asking for your acceptance. It's like, do you agree with that? Yeah, I mean, yes, actually, looking at you.
It's presented as if it's a plea, like it's a virtue. Like, I have multiple disabilities. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on
it's
the
not
autism
visible.
spectrum.
Oh yeah, you're on the spectrum. That we can agree on.
Yeah.
And I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my
God, I'm
driver
tired too.
that I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I had to hide from my driver in drag.
Where is she driving from? Like, I take it she got an Uber, right? So, like, where, like, is she literally in, like, I don't know, like Nazi Germany? Like, where, like, where do you have to hide in America if you wear drag?
Even like, I am shaking. I'm afraid for my life. That's why I got an Uber here to the town hall meeting.
Yeah, I don't, make sure there's a paper trail.
Do not want to be here. It's my day off. I do not want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want
What the?
I don't know, but carry on.
to spend an hour applying
look at
glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
I don't think it was mandatory.
I love also the government drones. Like Leo, oh my god.
Yeah, who are these fucking people?
Why are we here?
Yeah. What do they want from us?
It must be like being at the zoo and seeing monkeys throwing feces. Like, what the fuck? These people, these presentable human beings in suits that, at the very least, they value, like, look at everything else. The trappings of state, the huge chairs, the flags, the massive oaken desks, all of the gravitas of a US state.
And some person wearing a fake beard and glitter turns up.
And yells at them. Fucking hell.
On my face so that you will hear and see me. I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember.
Oh my
that
God, the
Nazis
theatre kids can go home. Fucking go home. Put makeup at home. Go do a play. Fucking hell.
burned the books that the Nazis burned books
Oh,
on
yeah.
gender sciences first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Are you considering your position in history and the books you're reading?
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
I mean, I could, but I don't think I should.
I can feel the adjudicator's hammer. Just, oh yeah, I wanna. How many do you have? That's the number.
But the thing is, look at the entitlement. Yeah. Oh, I'm pleading with the government. No, you have to do what I want. Meh, meh, meh. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's the posture, the tone of voice, all of it. Like she's giving
Petulant
orders.
demands. Yeah, exactly. These are orders. This is not an oppressed group. This is, we were in charge. What's happening? Why aren't you doing as we say?
Exactly. And again, I want to go back to the show for the actual room. Where was it?
Service guarantees citizenship.
Oh, sorry. There. Like, this is the assembly she was giving orders to. Like, there's no understanding of value for symbols anymore. Like, the people who built this room did so with the intent of it being a stately gathering. You know, an area of deep, somber seriousness where matters of civil import were discussed.
Well, the matters of civil import are now who I put my penis into.
Fire is the answer.
Do anything?
Please wrap
Look
up.
at me!
Please wrap up. Look at me. Miss, please stop.
God, theatre kids, stop and go home.
Okay, we're all done here.
There you go. Smack, smack.
Fucking
Hey, no,
pathetic!
we're all done. Come on.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because, in
Of
spite
course.
of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
But
Or what?
Oh, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah. What happens if you're not?
We all exist and we must be recognized. Like, okay. Why? By whom? Who do you need to be recognized by?
Yeah, what happens if you're not?
Like, you have a social security number, right? That's the government recognizing you right there. You pay taxes, there you go. But no, we must have Black History Month. We must be recognized.
be aware
Maybe.
that you are a guest in my house.
Service guarantees citizenship.
This person looks serious.
And when you come, know that there are strong queer and trans people in my classroom who will collect you with the quickness.
Oh, shut up, theatre kid. Shut the fuck up. God, I'm wishing they had to be afraid of Donald Trump at this point. Like, I just wish they'd take their life seriously. Like, these are people who are not taking their lives fucking seriously. They're just fanning around at the end of history as if they don't have to worry about anything ever. And this, oh, I'm not being recognized by the government.
Okay, so this apparently is the venue where this is taking place. The City Hall in Massachusetts.
Yep.
This woman, in her full makeup, her massive eyeshadow, and her, I don't even know what in her hair,
Her Widow Twanky outfit, yeah.
shows up here and goes, "You are in my house, and my theater class will come and deal with you if you don't acquiesce to my requests."
Yep. That's what's happening.
Oh, how it's fucking utter blindness. This is what happens when society grows so soft that its populace becomes utterly unaware of its fucking existence. These are the people who are like afraid of the police.
Well, I mean, this was what the end of history was meant to look like, FYI. It was meant to be insufferable losers like this, with non-problems approaching the political establishment and demanding solutions. I mean, this is exactly what Fukuyama imagined it to be.
Who will collect you with the quickness.
My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight.
Oh, hello. Oh, no. She sounds really fun.
And very afraid.
Yeah. She doesn't sound like she's terrified. Like, oh, this could be a good show. She doesn't sound like she's terrified about being marched off by Gestapo or something, but, like, she sounds like she'd be a fun person to hang out with.
And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Hey, Dewey.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio.
Hang on. He, they.
He,
sweetheart, come on. Come on, sweetheart. Come on. No. Just... You can paint on little fake sideburns if you like, but you're obviously a chick, bro. Sorry.
Legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like, all the time.
I can't possibly understand why.
Don't expect that to change, by the way.
People refer to me as sir when I prefer to be referred to as ma'am.
Yes, sir. Just come on, bro.
My man, you're a hobo who's put on lipstick. There's no way I'm going to be guessing your pronouns correctly.
Like, I just... So I feel bad for these people because they're obviously... Well, some of them anyway. Some of them are obviously whiny entitled women, but some of them are obviously mentally ill. And I think this is one of the mentally ill types.
He does look it.
I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets.
Fair enough. I imagine if I saw you entering the woman's restroom, I might resort to something physical too.
But I think if I saw you in the restroom, I'd probably be afraid to use public toilets too. Fucking hell.
Have you considered using the men's toilet instead? Just like normal?
Yeah, that could solve the problem.
The entire toilet thing too. Okay, this is literally a question of passing. If you look like a woman and you enter the public toilet, probably are people aren't going to give a shit. They won't notice.
Yeah.
If you look like a big homeless man and you enter the woman's toilet, however, there's going to be reactions.
I love that their entire rallying cry is, I can't pee. Like, it's very George Floyd.
I speak as someone who is a member of this community and is a queer person.
You have to imagine being me and my wife, feeling that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Please,
But no one's going to stop you bonking, for Christ's sake. No one's going to break you up.
We have so much time. Please, Joe's going to cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community?
The first one.
Yeah, the government response is the first one.
Yeah, literally.
Again,
you're speaking to the bureaucracy,
I love that this is their first encounter with bureaucracy. That, of course, you must value queer people. No, budget.
Yeah. Literally 15-minute slot. Get on with it.
How many lives have to be lost before you consider fighting back against fascism and corruption?
The F word.
Well, I'll let you know when the city of Worcester in Massachusetts feels like taking on the federal government. But I gotta warn you, the last time they tried that just didn't work out very well.
But also, like, they probably do have a number, actually. actually. Because again, you're talking to bureaucrats. They have a number for everything.
Yes,
And
when
you've
the
obviously not
public
reached it.
outrage reaches a certain point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look, we need at least 72% of people, and until then, we're not going to do anything.
Yep.
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh.
They'll get right on that phone. Federal government, please stop sending us money. Yeah, nice try, bro. Nice fucking try.
Some of you care more about easy funding than trans lives, and
Yep.
don't mind Nazis
They do.
for some whatever reason. But
No, literally, that's exactly it. They want the funding more than they care about what you think a Nazi is.
Normally, I would say good evening, but through the chair, I will only impart my sour grapes.
Again, it's like a theatre production. It's just, I feel like I'm watching a play.
I feel like, you know, these motherfuckers stood in front of the mirror, and it's like, that's a burn.
Oh yeah, there was a huge amount of preparation that went into all of this.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as someone as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name.
It's an extremely taxing thing.
It's taxing to have to fucking watch it, to be honest.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B.
Hey, at least he's got the protocol down. Good boy.
Yeah.
Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Noticing people here are trying to control the rights of others, and that's not right. We should make Wester a sanctuary city for trans people. Everybody deserves to feel safe, and everybody needs to feel safe.
Hello, I am Timmy. I have no idea what I'm saying, but my mum will hit me if I don't.
I hate when they bring kids into it. I really hate it.
It's such obvious weaponization.
Yeah. Like, you know, I don't get my 10-year-old to come out and talk about anti-woke stuff for a reason.
Lived here for 4 years, and there hasn't really been any changes in how people feel safe in the city.
For 4
4
years.
years.
There hasn't been any changes. Are you even
during
old
Biden-
enough to remember the last 4 years?
No, but during Biden. So they feel exactly the same now as they did during Biden.
Birthday is this Saturday, and all I want is peace and for you to vote yes. Please don't let me down for my birthday.
Again, this is such emotional manipulation of the lowest and most despicable kind.
Yeah, I hate it.
I have brought my child to speak to you because I believe that you will innately feel more for him than me.
Which I do, don't get me wrong, but you know, that's why I'm wise to your games.
Yeah, my primary feeling is, why are you abusing this child?
Yeah, absolutely. Poor kid.
There's a lot of queer people that I love, and to Candy Carlson, you should know to never call someone I'm 7 and I know better. The kids are watching and we're ready to vote you out.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah, about that.
Just feel bad for that kid, man. What chance does he have?
No, he's screwed. Like, his entire life is just fucked from day one.
It's going to be demented. And the thing is, this is assuming that everything has been completely above board with everything about that poor kid up until this point.
Like, best case scenario, he's going to grow up thinking that the federal government is coming for him.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, someone's calling Chris Hansen.
Oh my gosh.
I loved that. Oh my gosh.
Again, just theatre kids. Theatre kid occupied government, it used to be. And now they've gutted that it's not.
I particularly love these two older gentlemen over here. They look just drained.
Why is this happening to us?
They both look like they need to go home and have a beer.
It's the end of history, Jerry. God.
I thought this would be a serious job. Well, I'm sorry.
It probably was once.
Oh, God. This entire clip is just... It's
just embarrassing.
It is. It's this brilliant ideal of the public's ability to beseech and address the government directly being used for this.
Well, it was kind of inevitable as people became more retarded that this would be the case.
Yep.
I think it should be celebrated, frankly.
And it's finally come to a boil.
Yeah.
Maybe if enough government bureaucrats are exposed to this, they'll start thinking differently about their ideas.
I mean, they'll certainly start something. I mean, like, can't carry on like this forever.
Let's see. Almost at the end of our allotted time, so I'll get moving on the super chats.
Okey-doke.
From Jupiter, America didn't lose Vietnam, South Vietnam lost without us helping them. Therefore, it would be unfair to say we lost considering we won the battles.
Yep. I'll hear that, Cope, and I'll raise you you lost in Vietnam.
Yep, if I didn't worry about getting demonetized again, I would go find Copacabana right now.
We're just teasing.
We are, but maliciously. Stedman Wells, Carl, tell Bo that he is a bearded Chad who makes every Lotus Eaters episode better. I'm absolutely, totally, definitely not biased here, being a fellow historian.
Oh, well, I will. I don't know who's on the podcast tomorrow, but if he's on, I'll let him know.
Gripper, hey guys, I recently replayed both the Dawn of War games, not without flaws, but both absolutely awesome. I decided to give Dawn of War 3 another try. It was way worse than I remember, and man, the voice acting and dialogues are truly horrific. Rip Firstborn.
So, I never played Dawn of War 3, so no idea how bad it is. Dawn of War 2 I didn't really enjoy, but Dawn of War 1 I loved.
Dawn of War 3 is legitimate torture. Like, it is awful. It is, the entire campaign is, from the very first mission, just a complete drag. It's terrible.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Texas Apache, White Pill, will be a dad in a month. Oh, great. Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
iFly64's going for 1,300-pound club, deadlift, squat, bench, max combined. Wife also love both of y'all's content. Fantastic, man.
Well done.
Shaman McLamy, they should send Palestinians to Syria. That country is already a broken mess. Why do Jordan and Egypt dirty?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, what do the Jordanians and Egyptians do to deserve it, you know?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Syria, it's already a mess, so why not add in another faction?
Yeah. Oh, no, I hear Syria's about to get progressive, so...
Belial.
There was an article in the Times or Telegraph or something. It literally was called Our Inclusive Jihadis or something like that.
Our Inclusive Jihadis.
I'm not even joking. It's like, obviously they're trying to launder their reputation in the West, and it's like, God, this is so transparent and embarrassing.
Well, they're probably just looking at, okay, can we get some CIA money? What do we need to say?
Oh yeah, no. The new government of Syria is obviously Western backed, which is why it's getting the favorable TV coverage and like newspaper coverage, right? But it's so transparently obvious. Like, oh yeah, look at these inclusive jihadis. It's like, you've been funding them. Got it. You've been funding them. Understood. Fuck's sake.
Belial, the new Civ games just feel like a board game, like Settlers of Catan, but digital and surprisingly cheaper. From Jupiter, every masterpiece, Dark Maga has its poor copy, Dark Woke. Also, what is that bundle of physiognomy? Oh yeah, I've seen Dark Woke, which is the woke is being like, we can be dangerous too. I'm like, yeah.
Go on, use a slur. Go on. Show me the Dark Woke power.
Go on, indeed. Let's see how far you'll go. Black 917's member for 26 months. Thank you. Hail our Christ, our Lord and Savior, and hi, Sargon.
Hello.
And again, they're woke Sargon. That makes them goose steppers by default. Trevor Noah, did you see Larian hired Veilguard writer? Baldur's Gate 3 is cooked. When are you playing Dragon Age Origins? Curry Fund.
I'm not playing Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, 4 is probably in deep shit. But, hey, that is the inevitable decline of all things once they start getting woke, isn't it?
Yep. It's literally, literally like a force of nature, really. Like, like the tides.
Reverend Norse, you both often speak of the magic and sacredness missing from our generation. Have you ever felt call of religion or faith? I myself became a heathen, in hopes of connecting with lost magic.
I haven't felt any particular need for faith myself, but it's definitely, magic is definitely an aspect of fantasy.
I embrace magic by self-aggrandizement.
One way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be a content creator and have a few thousand people listen to you, you got to have a bit of a, Oedipus complex.
Oedipus complex?
Which is the one when you think you're a god?
It's not that one.
Is that the one when you want to screw your dad?
Yeah, that's the one.
God damn it. I would have gotten away with it too.
Someone clip that. Holy shit, that's funny. Oh dear, Arch.
I have lost.
Carry on. That was just
Narcissus.
Really
there you go.
Narcissus is the one you're thinking of. Yeah.
Black 917. This is another reason why they hate anime and anime games. It does fantasy better than them, and everyone likes it more.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, this is the genuine worrying problem, though. Our world was defined by America because of entertainment. If this continues, our world is going to be defined by China, and I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Arch, we're going to have to start making things.
Yeah. Well, give us another year and we'll probably have something.
Yes.
Belial, we used to have Albia, I guess, where magic subfuses everything. There was wonders and mysticism everywhere, and while dark, there was hope. Now we just have Sir Gawain killing the flying crocodile in the UK.
Oh, God, I haven't even watched this Green Knight thing, by the way. I'm very much on the stop giving these people your money train. So I don't watch any of this shit anymore.
DRT is king. I'm angered by Master and Commander because they changed the American ship into a French ship. I will not have a sister ship of the USS Constitution turn into a French ship. We made fantastic wooden boats. I'm still angry.
Is that
Fair
true?
enough.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know. I have never gotten around to reading the Master and Commander books. I've wanted to, but
I didn't even realize they were books.
Oh, there are. There's books about it.
Okay.
Sujad, the theatrical release shat all over the Christian army. The extended version gave both sides a fair shake.
Oh, right, okay.
I only watched the extended version.
Yeah, I think I've only seen the extended version.
Furikazan, Last Samurai put this stupid idea in people's head that the samurai were too honorable to use gunpowder, which is totally not true, as you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, they were literally just outdated. That is what happened. They were, and you gotta remember as well, Japan didn't go from, matchlocks to Gatling guns, right? They went from swords to Gatling guns because the entire matchlock thing had largely been removed after Oda Nobunaga's attempts to unify Japan because it was viewed as too large of a threat to the central government and the shogunate. Mm-hmm. So it was a massive technological switch up, which is why there were a lot of people holding to the olden times, of course.
Based people.
But base people who didn't have enough machine guns.
Yeah, base people who got killed, I know, but still base people.
Frisky Hunter, so Arch and Lord Sargon of England. I hope you are having a good evening. Have either of you seen Gettysburg the movie? It's really well done.
I have not.
I have. I watched that not too long ago. And the even better version, Gods and Generals, which is 3 hours of just beautiful, archaic, melodious prose. I love it.
Love it. Wonderful.
Italian Hayabusa. If Germany leaves the EU, it will be called Germex. Frog Jupiter. Remember, leftists will desecrate Robert E. Lee's horse, and they will post about Sherman committing war crimes against Southerners because they hate whites.
True.
Ulysses. Sargon. You happy Trump erased online act in UK?
The what?
I don't know, but I think there was something about Trump having something to say about the some UK online bill.
Well, I mean, if Trump can stop something like that, good. Anything the UK government does with things that are online is always bad.
Ah, there we go. Okay, I have not looked into this. UK willing to renegotiate online harm laws to avoid Trump tariffs.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, well done.
Starmer may be prepared to alter Social Media Safety Act to accommodate US President and his tech bros to secure favorable trade deal.
Ace Trump.
Yes, America. This is exactly what America needs to do. Like, the world has been too locked in this kind of performative political class where everyone is in the same club and therefore nothing ever gets done. Meanwhile, Trump just goes in there and they go like, hey, wow, I'm going to slap a 50% tariff on your country if you don't give me what I want. And they'll bloviate in public like, oh, America's being so mean. And then they'll accept it.
Yeah, then they'll just fucking do it.
Yep, simple as. Then they'll just do it. And I love the wording too. And his tech bros. Yes, you are currently being dominated by an orange man and an autist. Fucking suck it.
His tech bros. Deal with it. No censorship for you, you little shits.
Marcellus Doretta for the restoration of the Empire of Brazil. Yes, well, get on it. Brazil must do this. Brazil has an enormous landmass and huge natural resources.
And a large population, too.
Yeah, start conquering your neighbors.
Yeah, bring back Bolsonaro.
There's no reason why South America can't be a country. Pieman. Europe looks down on the US as uncultured, yet the watch American movies, sing American songs, and copy American art. Oh, yeah.
True.
Well, you have the current culture. We have a lot of older culture. Better culture. Your culture right now is wokeism. Much to our chagrin.
Also true.
Frog Jupiter. Sargon, have you heard about goodness with fists? Goodness with fist, I think. He made a video arguing that the US is if Carthage won the Punic Wars more so than the Roman Republic.
So I've thought about this a lot. Kind of, in a way. Carthage had quite a hands-off empire, right? Whereas Rome had direct provincial administrations, for example. So in that way, yes. Both Rome and Carthage were quite mercantilist, though. So, although obviously Carthage more so. So, but there's not a huge amount in it in that regard. The main thing that makes them really different is their approach to citizenship. America gives out like it's worth nothing, as the Romans ended up doing, whereas the Carthaginians never gave it out, basically. And so they had kind of ethnic homogeneity until the end. So actually, I would say they're more like Rome in that regard. And that's a big, important regard.
Marksman. I think federal historian nailed grimdark best. There must be light at the end. It's a choice between extinction and endurance for the sake of a new golden age, rebirth, otherwise it's gross, boring nihilism. Where many fail is what is the light? Well, I partially agree, but it's far too easy to add in too much light, which is exactly what Warhammer is doing now, with returns of fucking Primarchs and so on. Like, Grimdark needs to be a possibility to continue existing, of course. But I think if the moment you define your enemy as defeatable is also when you have managed to rid the world of a lot of its mystery, too. Like chaos, you're not supposed to fully understand chaos because it's supposed to be a force beyond your ken. Whereas now, they're all too often just simply represented in Failbadon, screwing up yet again.
Another problem with Warhammer is that the grimdark has become fetishized, so it becomes kind of kitsch rather than like an active, rather than being the residue of specific design, it's become the purpose in and of itself. And this means that we're not getting the kind of essential quality and nature of the thing that we used to get. And so now it becomes like grimdark for the sake of grimdark, rather than, isn't this an interesting story? And we will characterize it as grimdark.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the biggest problems with Trench Crusade, is that it enforces the grimdark in places where it doesn't even belong. Where you have Crusader Knights, where they're like, okay, well, we want Crusader Knights because they're excellent fighters. So what do we do with them so they don't betray us? Because they did so once. Well, we're going to carve spells into their bones that sends them to hell if they do anything but die in battle. Okay,
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, wouldn't that be counterproductive? What if they die from disease? Oh, they go to hell. Okay, fall and break their neck, go to hell. Oh. So, we're sending our finest warriors' souls to damnation for tripping, are we? Why?
Yeah, well, we've got to be grimdark, you see. We've got to be grimdark. That's pretty grimdark, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I know it is pretty grimdark, but am I bought into it? Am I persuaded by that? Not really.
Yeah. It seems silly. It's overdone. It's grimdark because grimdark.
Yeah, grimdark just as kitsch.
Timothy LaRue, Canada, World War I, worse than America. Canada did do a lot of war crimes, it's true.
Did they? I actually don't know that.
Oh yeah, the Canadians, when they get to war, are terrible human beings. Like, genuinely awful.
I believe it.
All of that repressed aggression from their day-to-day lives really comes out then.
Yeah, I bet.
Black 917, the day the Middle East goes quiet is the day America removes its signature from the Geneva Conventions. Belial, it's not that you took advantage of our military spending that pissed me off, it's that your nations are still trying to kill itself. You could at least make your nations amazing.
Yeah, I know. We've got no excuse.
Well, our idea of making ourselves amazing was to make incredibly cushy lives for us all and then ruin it by inviting the entire world.
Yeah, that's true. But I totally agree. Like, if I were American, okay, fair enough. We are giving them the opportunity to take advantage. Of course they're going to. But why are they being fucking losers about it? I would be genuinely annoyed as well.
Shaman McLamy, my friend's grandfather has a picture of himself proudly stretching his arms out, showcasing a bunch of North Korean heads on the hood of a Jeep.
Told you.
Yep. Black 917, you don't get to call America uncultured when your country's tipping over itself to erase its culture. Yep, fair enough.
I don't know. I still think that it's a fair judgment.
Why you hating? Just catching the end because I had to spend the day testing for my next martial art rank. I passed. Congratulations.
Well done.
Not Alfarius. It's the KCD Jew quest really out of place. Is the KCD Jew? I know that it was a program in Prague that killed 3,000 just 14 years before. I can see why the Jews in Gutenberg might be a bit worried about it happening again. Potentially, yes. What makes it out of place is that apparently the synagogue in which it takes place in was built 400 years after the game takes place. Which is a bit of an obvious thing. Like, okay, if Christendom, the primary power in this world, is actively persecuting Jews, why did they build them a synagogue? Seems like an obvious target. Danny Boy, Arch keeps saying the glaring red flags in KC2s are maybe possibly eventually signs of potentially hypothetical yellow flags. Well, that's the thing. There is the question of how much woke is too woke, right? Because if there's a woke quest in a game that is otherwise good, it will do more harm to my position to reject it than it will do good. And that's kind of the end, like, math there. Like, can I advance my anti-woke position by attacking this, or will I in fact look like a raving lunatic to the majority?
Yep, and this is a valid tactical question. So,
one that countless political movements have fallen afoul of previously.
Yep.
Silly Sailor, did you hear Rory Stewart's wife was getting funded by USA for $1 million a year? Remember, it was a conspiracy theory that he was an intelligence plant.
It's a conspiracy theory. He was fucking married. Who knew? Look at the state of the man. Who could have imagined he'd have a wife?
Rubberleg63, I wasn't politically sensitive with games till they came in and bastardized them. I cared not till they made me care. They made us and hate us for it.
Yep. And that's why we will eventually destroy them.
Oh. So long as we don't create more people like Rubberlegs on the other side. Sujard, men, not women. My prior 10 for Vindaloo Curry. Mechanics on duty, bring back asylums.
Correct.
Yes. That would be nice.
It's kind of crazy how, like, mental people are just wandering around.
Yeah, and showing no sign about being ashamed of their mental inabilities.
But it's just, it's the society we agreed that mental people should be allowed to continue to just wander, roam freely. I mean, like, the Nottingham stabbing the other day, Nottingham attacks, where, like, 3 people were just murdered by this insane African guy. It's like, oh, and, you know, all the doctors are like, oh, yeah, he's mental, he's mental. It's like, oh, and we just let him wander around, do we? Until he finally has an episode, murders a bunch of people, and then we have to arrest him. We just let that happen, do we? Oh, okay.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because, okay, he's crazy. He's obviously a danger to everyone, but he hasn't done anything wrong yet. So we're going to have to wait until he hurts someone?
Yeah,
Isn't that really unfair to the person he's going to murder?
Yeah, it's literally mental, and let's hope it's not me, you know what I mean? Like, or someone you love, you know? Like, fucking, it's insane.
Yeah, like, insane asylums have a bad rep for a reason, but there are legitimate needs for it.
Yeah, they weren't irrational. You know?
Like when you've got a guy,
for the fun of it,
and everybody agrees, okay, this guy's going to snap, and God help anyone who's around. Okay, I lock him up. Fuck, it's too bad we're going to be violating his rights, but we're going to be violating other people's rights a hell of a lot more if we let him walk around.
Yeah, literally, what are our options here, guys?
J.L. Lockwood. Sargon had me rolling with a woke clown army. Can you imagine this in the history books? Sounds like something out of a cheesy 90s fight movie.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we're living it, bro.
Unironically, though, when people write the history of this era, it's going to... I think it might be another Weimar Germany. No, everybody's just going to memory hole it and forgot about the time the clown people were beseeching the government to protect them from the government.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, Biden's topless transgender activists at the White House and stuff like that. People are not going to believe it.
You know, Biden hired a bald guy in a dress to be his nuclear energy advisor, and he started stealing women's briefcases.
Yeah, he started stealing women's clothes. It's like, who's going to believe that?
That doesn't sound like a believable story, does it?
Yeah, in 100 years' time, they're like, no, he didn't. No, he really did.
Scarf the Strange, what's the over or under of Hans bursting in claiming, you can't deport me, I'm a noble? You couldn't, in the end. So on the Lich, everyone knows that the best way to hide from elimination teams is going to cry at a state office. Definitely.
Yep.
Like, that's what the Jews did in Germany. They showed up at the Reichstag so the SS wouldn't find them.
Yep.
Mr. Comrade Yuri.
These losers are out in the streets. They don't know where we are.
Mr. Comrade Yuri, help me, government from the government. I have the IQ of 90 and lower.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
Ginger Gandalf. German constitution says government gives you human rights. EU adopted that as how EU would give rights. Can't wait until they leave and the EU is gone.
Yeah.
The EU, a wonderful idea. Terrible execution. Scarf of the Strange. Hey, Ulrich, now throw the chamber bucket. Miss Next Day 1. How many? All of them. Enough to get the media's attention, at least. Primark, Gettysburg, and Gods and Generals are underrated movies. Absolutely, they're brilliant. Like, Gods and Generals is like 3 hours of handsome, stone-faced men talking about virtue and honor and sacrifice in melodic, old-school prose. I love it.
Yeah, it does sound good.
It's amazing. Like, it's so amazing. And the best part is, North and South are both presented as simply fighting for what they believe. There is no, like, oh, evil people here. There's honor, sacrifice, like, nobleness on both sides of this.
Duty and obligation.
Yes. And it's also like both the personal and the grander. So you have some going like, I'm doing this for my state, my obligation to Virginia. Others go, so no, I have a personal conviction to do this. The countless valid concerns of the people fighting the war. It's an excellent movie.
That sounds good.
Taratine, let me guess, they're all on welfare. Well, one of them was like 4 times disabled, so probably.
Yeah, they are going to all be on welfare.
But like 917, validate me and force everyone else to do as well. Whoa.
Literally the movement.
Yes. I require the government to enforce that everyone calls me ma'am, said the 2 meters tall hobo.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what he's there for.
And that, again, like that, the dude was big too. He was at least a head taller than all the other women.
Yeah.
It's like, really, women? Are you sure? Would you tell me, straight up, that you would be happy to see this huge man enter your toilet? Do you?
No, yeah, there's just no way. No
He's gonna step in there, a head above you, and like, hello, fellow woman.
Yeah, there's just no way. I'm just saying, as a father of daughters, I don't want that. Like, fucking hell.
Mr. Bob, 7370, I can't express how tired I am of hearing about how oppressed these people are, when they do not understand what actual oppression is. Everywhere I look, there is support for them, and I wish they would just take it and shut up.
Yeah, right. Like, again, this is not how it works in a Nazi regime, FYI, progressives.
Yep. Certain Deeth, they aren't very communist, charging $60 to $120 for the games, are they? They're not. E Platypus Unum as Dog Troopers and as Doge Troopers enters the IRS. It sucks Elon unalived himself 69 times to the back of the head.
So yeah, I mean, like they're gonna go for the Fed, man. Like, fucking hell. That's like, don't get me wrong, totally in favor, but like, ooh.
Yep.
Careful.
That's a big enemy.
Yeah, like, you know, if I thought there was a government department that literally would put out contracts on people.
If Trump does it, though, if he manages to ban federal income tax in America, I'm on the next fucking plane, I tell you.
Yeah, I know. Like, everyone's just like, when you move to America, it's like, well, I really don't want to. I really don't want to, but...
No federal income tax?
Imagine not paying tax on the money you earn.
Yeah. Like, there are states that only have, like, sales tax, and I am happy with that. Okay, I buy something, I give you some money to the public good. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
I'm on board.
Yeah, I could totally live with that.
Belial, what I will give to the disrespect to the trappings of power. Our offices of power stopped respecting them first, so why should we?
Good point.
Oliver Nord, to be fair, 1, most town hall meetings will either be made of circus rejects or other drones. 2, surely they had similar right-leaning assemblies those last 4 years, with less fancy hair and more Bible quotes.
I mean, they probably did, but it probably wasn't nearly as ridiculous, frankly.
Yeah, there's something about a woman in a wig, or a man in a wig, more correctly, yelling at you that's a little bit...
But literally, the woman was actually dressed like a clown. The only thing she was missing is the nose.
Mario Trujillo. America is divided between federal lunatics and overly sensitive purse clutchers, desperately holding them back. Woe to people make purse clutchers say, you know what, fuck it, go ham, and let's go. Dreyfy, do you guys think that a lot of these trans folks are really just gays with autism? Honestly, I understand there are legitimate people who have body dysmorphia or genetic defection, but with recent years' increase, I do wonder. Oh yeah, there are some, but they are the vanishingly small minority. Most of these people, it's a fetish or a fashion thing.
Correct.
H.P. Lovecraft's cat. Goodbye horses. Burn Burnson, save that boy from his mum before she troons him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to be a girl, Timmy? No?
Oh, God,
you sure, Timmy?
It's the one thing about wokeness that really pisses me off, is that.
Yep. Brian Allman, further proof that the nerds and jocks must team up to stop the theatre club.
Yeah, that's what this is. And that's what Elon and Trump are doing. I can't remember who it was on Twitter the other day who characterized it that way, but I think that's so totally correct.
All rooster, cock, birds of all New York Sea podcast. Why did you read my online alias? Because you sent it to me. Convincing reality. Human value is defined by overcoming adversity. In its absence, the weak fabricate struggles to feign significance. This mindset thrives only in coddling bureaucracy and will never dictate the course of substantial civilization.
One would hope.
I like that idea, though. Like, if humans naturally try to form themselves via adversity, then if you're living a coddled life in an American city, maybe you would try to invent some adversity for yourself.
True.
Dean Doman 25. Part of the reason why American soldiers were brutal in Vietnam was because of the lowered standards to get more bodies, like getting rid of mental health screening and pulling from the prisons. Oh, I tell you too. The American system of offering criminals to join the army instead of going to jail is one of the most lunatic fucking things ever.
Well, we used to do the same thing.
I know, but you used to be lunatics as well.
True. I read a book recently on the death penalty back in the 19th century and 18th century and whatnot. And basically, if you just go through the records, murders absolutely correlate with whether there is a war going on.
Do they?
So oh yeah, 100%. So if there is a war going on, murders go down. If there's not a war going on, murders go up. Basically, we send all our criminals out to fight.
The Rails Artax enters Arch wants mommy relationship into lore book. The narrative must flow, Arch. I'm sure you understand. Listen, you can't have me try to be gay with hands and a mommy file at the same time. It just doesn't work. There's too many conflicting narratives, chat.
Yeah, you gotta pick one and stick with it, guys.
Yep. Frog Jupiter, as an atheist, I agree with the new atheists that you dare scroll on me. I thought we were almost done. That you can be moral without believing in God. However, seeing them spiral into gay romance, communism, and degeneracy makes me wonder otherwise. Well,
yeah,
religion has an evolutionary purpose. Like, it helps us up building our own teams by unifying around ideas of morality. Like, it builds a common point of view, kind of. Once we get rid of that, that doesn't get rid of the need for a common point of view or a common rallying point. And so we're going to come up with something else, no matter how retarded it is, and it's probably going to be worse than the 2,000 years old religion.
And the thing is, as well, like, the question of morality is what is the source of it? And without religion, morality becomes legislated, as in anyone can declare themselves to be the source of morality. Whereas if you've got a religion, it becomes interpretive, as in, what did the God think in this holy book? And this is good and bad, right? But when it becomes I say, well, that's entirely relative. I disagree. I say the opposite. Now what? Which one of us is more moral? Blah, 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 blah. So, there is a really useful function, at the very least, to religion as a moral legislation.
Mm-hmm. Boycott of Waterman Plus. So Arch likes NTR and has an Oedipus complex. I feel sorry for his dad personally. This new narrative will go away soon, I hope. Sandum, Arch, you owe the US $115 million for illegal US aid. No, we saw an opportunity to take advantage of you, and you let us.
Womp womp.
Yeah, literally. You got screwed. Now what?
Blame your government.
Yeah, compensate about
it. It's literally their fault.
We took $150 million of your money, printed a Norwegian flag on it, and went, here, illegals, have this.
Didn't even give it to the Norwegian people. Fuck them. Honestly.
The real Zartax. To be fair, if letting go of the Safety Act secures the UK better deals, then Carl will have to admit the Safety Act was a good thing.
Well, I mean, abolishing it or preventing it was a good thing.
Ideological physics. Weimar Republic was the first social democracy and shows how utterly stupid it is. And now our leaders want to follow that model, apparently. Yep. But this time it'll be Weimar Plus, so it'll be way better.
Looking forward to that.
Sandum, only one Petrabo and potential demon engines. Zeduction Doppelganger, Trench Crusade is grim derpy. London's Jiggle Physics, the 20th century.
Just a quick thing, it's not even like grim derpy, it's just try hard.
Try hard, grim dark.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it, though?
It is, though.
It's just really try hard, and it's like, oh, fuck's sake. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm sure it's fun, I've not really looked into it, but like, it just doesn't appeal to me on that aspect.
The 20th century was a century of competing socialists, national syndicalists, fascists, Marxist socialists, and national socialists, all German socialists. Capitalism beat them only to copy them. Sluxon Doppelganger, we can relax in 5 years. Until then, any woke is too woke. Toby the Drink, now do it, Art. Bloodraven's law video. It's time. Mercenary Exton 1. To paraphrase Frankenstein, it's the nature of woke to create angry gamers. It's the nature of gamers to destroy woke. We will never forget. Dreyfie. Oedipus Complex. Hey, Arch. Damn, Sargon, control your boys.
Hey, man. Yeah, I was the one who pulled him up on it.
Teletine. Would have been funny if Trump made all state electoral college, where the cities combined for a max 1/3 of the college votes. That would be a rather radical shift in American politics. Drop like 63. I remember seeing Gods and Generals in theatre as a kid and being confused when the lights came on with the film still playing because of the intermission being needed due to its length. Yeah, it's a long fucking movie.
I don't mind that, though, as long as it's good.
Yeah, same. I fucking love Gods and Generals. I'll watch it over the course of like several days, basically. A little bit here and a little bit there. Shaman McLean. Friend's grandfather was 16 when the army told him to lie about his age and join the army to get free food and board. Korean War broke out a week later.
Wow.
Unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
Mr. Comrade Yuri, me and my friends are still waiting for Europe to set itself on fire with the new Europeans' population. Also, Germany must rearm and rise so the rest of the country switch tracks or focus, lol. Also, pizza money. That's true. Generally speaking, there are 2 countries in Europe that drives national defense spending. France and Germany.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Like, what's interesting is how Britain doesn't. Britain hates spending anything. We've always been so tight with everything. Like the entire British Empire was run on a budget, man. Like they were like, no, cut costs all the time. And it's like, you're controlling a world empire. Like, don't you think? No, we want it cheap. All right.
Because world empires are goddamn expensive.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's the myth of colonialism. Like, oh, Europe robbed the third world. No, we built the third world.
Yeah, and we couldn't afford to keep it when it was over.
Yeah. The real Zartax. But you see, I can make both true at the same time. You can be the B in LGBT. Claim minority status, Arch.
True. I mean, you could.
And the final super chat of today, Marek Zielinski. There is a reason why insane asylums were closed down. They were breeding grounds for insane ideas on behalf of the staff more than the patients deserved. Lobotomies as a prime example to begin with.
So there we are.
Besides, I'm quite warm to the idea of lobotomy, honestly. Okay. Still streaming. Successfully connected. Okay. We survived.
Oh, good.
Right. That was just my chair rolling over the internet cable for a moment there. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But yes, we are through everything. So, thank you all very much for watching us again today. Thank you for your generous donations and all of your super chats and chats in general. And for all of your likes. Gotta hit that like button. It's the only metric YouTube gives a shit about. Hit it now or else. Or else, next week, I'll just leave you here with Sargon to watch that work video on repeat for a few hours.
Oh, fucking hell.
Clockwork Orange, everybody, to just watch.
Oh, no.
Until next time, chat. Thank you for watching again, and have a